Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to create an EdPuzzle video. What an EdPuzzle video is actually just a regular video that is more interactive than just watching a regular video. Comments can be added, voiceovers can be added, questions and comments can also be added in order to ensure that the students are becoming active participants as opposed to just passively watching a video and not really engaging with the material. Now, what you would need to do is, first of all, you need to go ahead and create an account if you do not already have one. So you would go to just edpuzzle.com, as we can see up here in my URL, and you would go ahead and go to Teacher Start Now, and you'll see that it is a free program. So once you click on Teacher Start Now, you'll see that there is a tutorial that you can take, a little start tour. You can go through the tour process if you'd like, or you can skip the process. And so what will happen is a login screen will come up. It'll have you fill out your first name, last name, and then your email address and a password. Now, I've already signed up, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm going to go ahead and just log in. I'm going to log in as a teacher. You can see here my credentials, and then I'm going to go ahead and log in, and it's going to bring me to my dashboard. And you can see that I already have a video that I've already created. And so what I want to do though is I want to go ahead and create a new video. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my content. And so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a new video. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on new video. And you can see that I actually have several choices. I can actually select from videos that other people have already done. And so there's lots and lots of choices to scroll through. You'll notice that there are different places to acquire videos. It does not have to just be a YouTube video. You can actually acquire videos from TED Talks, Khan Academy, National Geographic, and so forth. Now, the video I'm picking, though, is a YouTube video. It's one that I've used at work. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy the URL, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it here into the search box. And so it's going to search for it, and you can see that my video has now come up. And you'll notice that at the top I have several buttons that I can use, just 4 very simple buttons. And you'll also notice that for each button there is a training video. So if you ever forget what something is for, you can actually go here to the training video and it'll give you a quick tutorial about what its purpose is. And so since this is a video that I've actually created, I know exactly what's on here. I know exactly the information that is useful and so forth. So the very first thing I want to show you is how to crop a video. Now, the video itself is actually pretty short. It's only about 4 minutes long, but the end part, I can definitely trim a few seconds off of it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And you can see my video is loading, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip all the way to the end, and you can see that there's definitely some seconds where I just really don't need all this information because it's just kind of a repetitive message. So what I'm going to do is, you can see my little scissors here, it says crop, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my marker so that my video actually ends a few seconds sooner than it normally does. And so now that I have moved my marker, I can go ahead and move on to doing other things. I can actually go ahead and save my mark. And so now I have my video cropped by just a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my video over. So let's go ahead and start it from the beginning so that I can do other things to it. So let me go ahead and show you one of the other buttons. Now this one is an audio track. This is if you have a video and you actually want to talk over the entire course of the video. Now I will not be doing that today because I really don't need to talk over the entire course of this particular video. But if you have something where a video and you want to lecture while the video is playing, this would actually be the button that you would need to use. So I'm actually going to go ahead and skip over to the audio notes. This one is an extremely useful one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the video to play. And you can see that it's going to play in real time. It gives you a preview of everything that's going on, and so we have the information that is going. And so it's talking about the benefits of taking advanced classes, whether it be advanced placement or dual credit. So we're going to let the video play for just a little bit. See, the little guy is really excited about all the benefits that he's getting. And so now it's going to go ahead and start with talking about advanced academics. And so at any point now, I can actually go ahead and start adding a comment. So I'm going to continue letting my video go. And so here, I'm going to go ahead and add a comment. So you'll notice what I've done is I've actually pressed the button, and you can see the little thing is moving because I'm talking while this is going on. Now, I don't want this to be my comment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit stop, and you can see that it says remove all new notes, or I can remove the last note that I just did. Well, the last note that I did, if we hit this little button up here, a comment. So you'll notice what I've done is I've actually pressed the button, and you can see the little thing is moving because I'm talking while this is going on. Now, so obviously I do not want to have that as my comment for students to listen to, because those are of course the directions of me explaining how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the last note. Please make sure that you do not remove all new notes, because what will happen is that, let's say that you have several notes on here. Well, if you remove all new notes before this actually has a chance to save, then you may end up losing several pieces of information, which means that you would end up having to start over, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to remove the last note. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I'm going to add a note that I would tell a regular student. So let me go ahead and do that now. Just in case you didn't know, in AP, you pay for a test at the end that typically costs about $87. For dual credit, there is no test at the end, but you do have to pay for the fees associated with the class. Now, tuition is waived, but there are still college fees that are associated with the class. So notice that I have stopped my note. I'm going to go ahead and play it to make sure that it has recorded what I wanted it to say. Just in case you didn't know, in AP, you pay for a test at the end that typically costs about $87. For dual credit, there is no test at the end, but you do have to pay for the fees associated with the class. Now, tuition is waived, but there are still college fees that are associated with the class. So now you can see that my comment is recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and continue playing my video. Oops. And so it's going to continue playing. And you can see that my little comment button is still up here, so that if I want to record any further comments, I can. So my little guy's still not quite sure which one he wants to take, so he's still going to need some more information. Now, what you'll notice here is that I have a comment here about a student having to pay to take the AP test at the end of the year, and I just made a note about that. So if I want to ensure that the student paid attention to that note, what I could do is I could actually go up here to where it says quizzes. And so what I'll do is I am going to press the little question mark button. You can see that it saved my comment. And you'll notice that now I have a little question mark question mark button here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press the button. Now, what we actually have are several different options here. We do have the capability of doing an open-ended question. So if you want your student to be able to reflect or if you want your student to be able to type an actual paragraph or short answer in response to what they've just seen, you can actually ask a question of that nature, and then they will have to type a response in there. We can do, of course, multiple choice questions. We can do, true, false, things like that. And then we can actually, instead of asking a question, we can actually just make a comment that is not verbal, but is written, such as take notes here or pay very close attention, so that we don't interrupt the flow of the video. But instead, I want to go ahead and ask a multiple choice question to make sure that my student paid attention to the comment that I just made. So I'm going to ask the question, how much does the AP test cost? Because I just said that. And you'll notice that I do have the option. I can, of course, boldface it. I can underline it. If I'm doing, say, math questions for you math teachers out there, you can do subscripts. You can also hyperlink a question. So maybe I have something, if I want to hyperlink this, I could hyperlink this to the College Board website so that the student can click on it and they can actually go see how much the AP test costs, especially if maybe the fees have changed. I can add a picture, and you can see here that I can also add in equations for, again, math and science people. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type my choice here. And so I'm going to go ahead and say $75. I'm going to put, let me see here. I'm going to put $87, which of course is the correct answer. I'm going to go ahead and add a third choice here, and I'm going to go ahead and put $99. And so you'll notice that I'm going to go ahead and change the correct answer because we know it's $87. And so we're going to go ahead and change the answer here, and we're going to mark this one wrong because it is not $75. It is actually $87. And I can also provide feedback. Now, what's really great is that the student will not receive the feedback until after they have answered the question. So if I wanted, I could say, fees are subject to change based on College Board's decision. So I could let the student know, hey, College Board is the one that makes this decision, and so fees are subject to change. So now I'm going to save my question, and you'll notice that my feedback is here added to the correct question. You can see that it does say that it is correct. I can go back and edit my question if I notice that there is an error, but I think I pretty much am done with this. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit continue. And so, sorry, I have a sensitive mouse. And so you can see that my video is now continuing to play. And so, yet again, I see a statement here, and I want to go ahead and make a comment. So I'm going to make a little note here about this idea of class ranking. So I'm going to hit the audio notes. You can see that it has switched back over to the little microphone. And so I'm going to go ahead and add another audio note. So let me go ahead and do that now. The GPA points that are earned in advanced classes, such as advanced placement or dual credit, are applied towards the weighted GPA of each individual school. The weighted GPA is what is used to determine class rankings, such as top 10%. Colleges will only accept unweighted GPA points, which is the 4.0 scale. So that is important to understand, that the higher GPA points are only going towards school ranking purposes and not for college acceptance purposes. So you can see here that I have stopped my recording. I can go ahead and play it. The GPA points that are earned in advanced classes, such as advanced placement or dual credit, are applied towards the weighted GPA of each individual school. The weighted GPA is what is used to determine class rankings, such as top 10%. Colleges, okay, so I can go ahead and stop that. Oops, sorry, I have a very sensitive mouse. So I can go ahead and stop that because I know what it says. You can see that I can remove the last note, or I can remove all new notes. So I'm perfectly fine with it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue my video. Oops. And so it's going to go ahead and continue playing. And so now my video has switched over, of course, to dual credit. And so at this point, I can definitely start commenting about dual credit. I can definitely start asking questions about dual credit for students to understand better what's going on. So at this point, I want to go ahead and ask another question. So you'll notice that it says instead of a test at the end, if a student earns a C or better, then the student will receive college credit. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to ask a question about that. But this time I want to go ahead and make my question an open-ended question. I want my student to think about why that might be a better choice. So let's go ahead and ask that question here. So why would earning college credit throughout the semester be a better choice for some students than taking one test at the end to earn college credit. So here you can see that I have asked an open-ended question, and so you'll see that there, of course, are no multiple choice selections because it's not multiple choice, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And you can see that there is now a box here, and this is where my student will put in their answer when they actually watch the video. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. Sorry. And so it is continuing through the video. So we have our adorable little muscle man who's talking about his advanced academics. And so this would be a perfect opportunity for me to go ahead, as you know, I'm having my final thoughts here, to maybe ask another question of my student. So again, rather than having them be a passive watcher, I want them to be an active watcher. So here I might say, which advanced class do you think would be a better option? Actually, I'm going to say advanced class style. Do you think would be a better option? So here, the student can think about, okay, well, which one would be a better option? You know, would AP or dual credit? And I'm going to say explain why. Because we know that if we don't say explain, the students will not explain. So explain why. And so I'm going to go ahead and bold this. And again, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And so you can see that now I have my box. And of course, my student can give me a response as to why they think, or which they think would be a better option. Now, this would, of course, would help me to understand that they have watched the video, that they have looked at the differences, and that they are thinking about which one might be a better option for them. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And so the video is going to go ahead and finish out. And then we can see that it's going to finish out. And of course, we cut our video short. We trimmed a little bit off at the end. So I'm going to go ahead. My video is officially done. I'm happy with what I've added. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save just to make sure everything is saved. And you can see that it does say everything is saved. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. And so now what I have is I have the opportunity to do a couple of extra things. I can assign the video to a class, or I can share with anyone. I can also click on prevent skipping if I want, or I can allow students to skip questions or comments. Now, I always like to click on prevent skipping. I don't want my students to skip any of the comments or the questions that I've asked. I wouldn't have commented or asked the question if I didn't think it was important. I can also assign a due date. So if I want to ensure that my students have watched a video by a certain time, I can go ahead and also assign a due date. So I want to go ahead and share this video with anyone. And you can see that there is either a link that I can click on, or I can even use an embed code. So if I'm going to be posting this on, say, my LMS site or on a website or a blog, I can go ahead and put in the embed code. I can also just use a simple link if I want to share this with colleagues or individual students or so forth. Now, if I have a class, I can go ahead and assign it to a particular class. And so what this means is that if I have a class already built with students already added, then I can actually assign this one video to a particular class. So maybe I teach 3 different classes. Well, I don't want to show this video to every single class. So I can actually pick the class name, and then I check it and it goes to that particular class. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click out of here, and we're going to go ahead and finish. And so let's go ahead and we're going to send this to my dashboard, and you can see that we now have our official video here. And so you can see that right now we don't have anybody that's completed our video because we just made it. But what we do have is we do have a progress bar. So we can actually click on the progress bar to see what is the progress of our video. How many of our students have actually finished our video, how many have watched it, how many have completed it. And so this is very useful for you as a teacher so that you can kind of track your students and you can look at the data. So we can go to my content, and we can of course create more classes. We can click on share, and we can actually send our EdPuzzles to other teachers if we want to share what we've created with them, especially if you are working in conjunction with other teachers. And so this is, of course, how you create an EdPuzzle. And I hope you really enjoyed the training, and I hope that this proves to be useful for you as you create your own videos and make them much more interactive and engaging for students to watch. So thank you.